Friends, I'm sure that the day of a potentially profitable and professional trader will be significantly different from the day of an ordinary person who has just started trying on this role. Let me tell you this, in the process of development, there are many secrets and life hacks that will help speed up the process and better understand the market. It is clear that no one will share these schemes for free, and they do not work the same for everyone, but in reality, it is quite simple. You already know these obvious elements. Most likely due to misunderstanding, you just don't understand what to do with them. Today, I will try to make a video for you about the methods and approaches to become as fast as possible. Pros in the market. Let's get started. So my dear ones, I have already analyzed all the currency pairs, and I have a feeling that the market will be as calm as possible today. At least I will try to trade only in the places that are most advantageous for me, as I do not plan to use any indicators today. Only dry, pure analysis. This is my first attempt at acceleration, so if everything goes well, you will witness it. I use the latest price lows and highs to identify opportunities for suppression. Since we currently have a very sharp wedge movement without consolidation, I suspect that we still have some potential for further decline, as the main support level is slightly lower and the price has not yet reached it. Friends, I will now name one of the reasons why trading is the most difficult business. And this reason lies in freedom, as if the country didn't happen. No one, that is, tells us when to buy, when to sell, what the acceptable risk size should be, and what the criteria for a reliable entry point are. No one talks about this. Here, we make the decision ourselves. Moreover, traders constantly have feelings like greed, fear, and they also have to deal with them. How's our trade going? Well, in the last few seconds, it's dropping where it needs to. Yes, excellent. Today, I will be boosting your deposit, as you already understood. I had a break. It seems I've rested, full of energy, now ready to jump into action. Well, let's finish with the euro dollar and look for a new entry point. So, friends, trading is quite stressful. And even at certain moments, it can turn out to be a disappointing activity. Any business that in which you risk your money will inevitably be a cause of concern and anxiety for you. These shadows here are quite long. It seems like market participants are testing the resistance levels. Here the price is in such a channel, and it seems to me that it will still strive for a breakout. Besides financial risks, there are actually many other factors that may cause stress. The very process of trading is complex. It exhausts you. Let me try to share with you how you can relieve stress and thereby minimize risk for yourself. In fact, knowledge is a very useful resource. So listen and take in my personal experience. Absolutely. Friends, I'm sharing with you from the bottom of my heart. So, just a moment. The bulls are not very actively entering positions, which is why the resistance level is asserting itself, not letting down. Or rather, it is letting down. Well, all right, not letting down. There is another chance. I have already determined where the price will move, in my opinion, so I will simply open a contract to buy. In general, I prefer to use price action when trading. This trading system allows me to find the most profitable setups. I like to simplify everything as much as possible, and my minimalist approach helps me stay away from emotions, and aside from false hopes, which is very, very important in trading. The price tested the upper area. We can see it was pushed down, but it won't have any trouble rising higher. The entry point could have been chosen better by waiting a bit, but it's not critical. It's clear that support is working from below, which is pushing, and it might also turn out to be in the cross. It might be a plus for me that I entered in the middle of the minute. Today I will try to share with you methods that will help you reduce stress levels so you can feel like I do during trading as calmly as possible. When it comes to such topics, it's better to keep a written journal or diary, so write down everything I say and highlight certain points for yourself. This will definitely help you. I'm taking profit on the Canadian dollar and the Japanese yen. The first contract wasn't quite successful, but the main thing is that I didn't incur a loss, and that's great. And here, look, you can even open upwards again. A prolonged correction on which I will play again. We have, yes, it seems that not quite convincing, but look, the density of the level is easily determined by the volume of the candles that are located in this range. The size of the body roughly shows its boundaries and energy, which can influence the asset. From this understanding, guarantees are added. And no matter how you look at it, the market, although complex, its mechanism is basically easy to understand. Here, only your role matters. The first thing you should do when opening a chart, friends, is to mark the key levels you will focus on. These can be horizontal support and resistance levels, trend lines, or some technical patterns like a triangle or flag. Just consider them on higher time frames. In fact, the upper level pressure is also gaining density, the count on the chart. Shadows are bouncing off it. You can see they are quite strong. Overall, very close. Yes. Well, back to zero again. Okay, I won't give up. I'll just immediately open a long position. This is a boost, guys. Anything can happen. I'm showing you without any cuts. Now, this is how real trading goes, so watch. It will be interesting. When you start to properly understand the levels, you will get a plan of what to do next. Look, never try to chase the price. Instead, wait until, so to speak, it comes to the levels you have determined. Then just observe how the price behaves at those levels. And every time you mark the levels of movement resistance, I recommend you focus on the maximum and minimum limits of the price range. This is also very important. This approach will allow you to identify the most significant levels and ignore the unnecessary ones, so to speak. So, well, this time I think everything will be okay with our trade. There is a very tight upward movement. I don't think the bears will be able to easily absorb it. Yes, opened. That's it. There is a profit. Trading on this currency pair didn't turn out very well, so let's probably switch. Look for something else maybe. Let's go. Swiss franc, Japanese yen. Time is short, we need to act quickly. I'm entering at the breakout moment. Watch the price sharply. After the position was taken, it started to go down, tearing apart. All the candles in general that you see, the last candle is an inverted hammer, after which the trend usually continues its decline. I'm entering right at this moment. The problem with small time frames is that you will get bogged down in insignificant levels, of which there are many. Too many jumps, prices will be driven by news, whether minor or major, even, and other volatile events that can suddenly change everything. For better communication with the market, you need to draw the right picture for yourself in such moments, specifically zones of pressure and possible reversals. Then you can calmly move on to a more precise level adjustment. As I mentioned, the trend went down clearly, and usually, by the way, after a large candle, you can expect another large one. Or precisely, but at the moment of the breakout, an impulse appears that stimulates the price to move further. In this case, until there is demand for it, there is a contract. Friends, okay, let's look at other places in currency pairs where profit can be made. And just to show something useful so that for free, Canadian dollar, Swiss franc, many levels. If you have many levels on your chart, you don't know how to open a trade. Look, I am a big proponent of trading with a positive risk-reward ratio. I try to highlight one level among many others that I would trust the most. Right now, I am trading exactly in the direction of the price movement. Here, everything is quite simple, a dense movement to rely on. It exists, is carried out in such a price channel. And as long as the candles do not break the upper or lower boundary, we can enter calmly. The main rule is to choose the optimal place for the trade. This cannot be achieved if you use one or two arguments in your analysis for determination. I cannot tell you the correct distance between key levels, as each trading instrument will have its own characteristics and differences. However, if between the horizontal levels you see that the trend behaves unpredictably, then most likely you have overdone it with drawing these levels. Moment fixed. Friends, at the last moment I placed my contract not quite in the right place. Because of this, there was a big risk. I will try to be more careful as the amount is already growing. But we are not playing a game, friends. Therefore, let's move on to a new opportunity. Let's go. A rather complex currency pair, euro-dollar. Remember, yes, that we use support and resistance levels to determine favorable points. For entry, setting targets, neutral net, and taking profit. All of this is very important. Here, you can enter a sell position. Since the movement is steep, you see it has a strong downward slope. I don't think it will continue for much longer, but at the moment, the price will essentially drop a bit lower. And for us, that's the most important thing. Right now, it's not so much the support level, that's preventing me from going down, but rather the correction. This is a classic state after a decline, and it usually doesn't last long. It should be enough for me. Since I trade on the minute chart, I will essentially leave with a profit. We'll see, at least later. If the support or resistance area is too unclear, then it shouldn't be marked on the chart. Pay attention only to the most obvious levels. Then you will have a better chance of finding only quality trading setups and entry points. It's no secret that the reliability of a price action pattern starts with the support or resistance level on which it forms. That's the only way, no other. Here it is still very weak, but it was broken. I slightly overestimated the situation. It seems to me that the trend might go even lower. We need to see how it will behave. But the predisposition for this is definitely present. One of the best ways to reduce stress levels, friends, and find more profitable trades is to always have a clear trading plan in advance. I will continue to short. In general, always think one step ahead. At the beginning of each week, you can have a rough list of instruments that might show interesting trading opportunities in the market. Since the consolidation, there has been a clear decline on this chart. The demand for it is currently minimal in terms of buying, so I expect further decline. Expecting growth in this currency pair is worth considering a little later. You can dedicate a certain amount of time on the weekends to creating your plan freely. This way, it will be more convenient to remain as calm as possible. And in general, the principle of avoiding unnecessary hustle is that to achieve significant income, you only need one good trade per month. In fact, you will need to be prepared for it. If instead you get distracted by numerous mediocre trades, you will never reach your profit potential. Remember this, set a certain number of trades for yourself. For example, 3 to 5, no more, no more. You don't need to wait for hours? No. If the first trade is unsuccessful, no problem. Step back, take a breather, step back, come back. Continue to improve, of course, it's best from home accounts. Always remember this, but don't linger there too long either. Practice is very important, and it's crucial to do it on a real account. So friends, a clear trend has formed. I don't see any reason yet for any pressure to be exerted by the support level because there simply isn't any. I continue to short. The stoves are accumulating volume, and in fact we understand that market participants are still entering and accumulating positions. For further breakout, all this energy will contribute to the success of closing the deal, plus again, while we will be shorting. The main thing is not to get attached to the charts. Because of this, many traders fail, meaning they draw key levels, they make a trading plan, and then when the market opens, they sit for hours watching their charts, waiting for the price to go where they want. The main reason I check my charts only a few times a day is the need to stay away when there's simply nothing to do in the market. So there's no point in going against the flow. If the market doesn't provide opportunities, it's no problem. We'll still have time to make money. Moreover, each of these 2 chart checking sessions lasts only 5 to 10 minutes. At that moment in the day, it was dangerous, but now we are in trades. Plus, it's great. Everything is fine. The price is still going down. Even after a slight deviation, no matter how unpleasant, whatever correction it was, the reaction, whether correctional or from a level, started to act before the pullback. I will continue to trade short. It feels like it was just a small correction because the candle bodies seem full for now. Perhaps the level is already close and I should be more attentive as I'm still drawing it in my mind. There is a possibility, of course, to lose my deposit. One might consider this record unsuccessful. Okay, I think that even I will not re-enter the market on this currency pair. It seems the level is very, very, very close. The price has stalled. I don't like this, guys. I started today's trading with $1. In general, I spend no more than 30 seconds reviewing each chart. If I spend more time, then I will start seeing what my subconscious wants to see rather than what is actually happening in the market. Do you understand, really? You probably wonder how I manage to find trading opportunities so quickly. There's nothing complicated about it. In fact, if you have an understanding of how levels are structured, you won't need much time to determine the market condition, whether it's a trend or a consolidation, and to find the right price action setup at the level. There are no signs of green candles appearing yet. Okay, I'm contradicting myself a little, but I'll continue shorting. This method, of course, gives me less guarantee. For example, a green candle might appear right at the moment, which could completely knock me out. The green color would, of course, be unpleasant for me. But look, we can strengthen our opportunities by simply drawing channel lines and seeing that the candles have not once rolled over and have not moved away from its boundaries. This means there is potential for a fall. It still exists. Friends, understand that your analytical sessions should be as short as possible. The more time you spend staring at the screen, looking at the chart, the more likely you are to fall into a trap and ultimately lose your money. I used to spend hours banging my head against the monitor, not realizing that such a method simply doesn't yield anything good. But it can be very difficult to stop because you simply don't understand what's happening and what to do. In such a situation, it's best to just step away from the process and do something else. So for the first time in a long while, we have a bullish candle. And now it might be worth trying to go long. By the way, my analysis was not accurate enough. I assumed that the support zone was significantly higher. But as you can see, the price has dropped. Okay, let's try it this way. It's unclear what's happening right now, whether it's a correction or a real rebound. But in any case, we try to just stay within the 1 minute range and lock in our profit. Basically, as always. In any case, we need to look at the moment. And right now, it's hard to say anything specific. It will probably become clear after the formation of the third candle, whether it's a correction or a reversal. All right, let's see. Friends, the most important thing for today, you cannot become the best trader if you do not track your results. It's an opportunity, not only to observe your trading, but also to note what you are doing well and what you are doing poorly, and this can accordingly be improved. This is vital information, especially in such a solitary business where it solely depends on you whether you achieve success or not. Ancient civilizations left behind historical records, you see, which helped humanity to learn and develop further. The point is that we learn from history, in which a huge number of mistakes were indeed made, without which it is simply impossible to arrive at what is significant at the moment. Right now, I have a profit. I am happy you saw it clearly. Everything is fitting together quite well. And now I'll say this. It doesn't matter whether the pressure level was lower or if it's a correction. In any case, the trend will go down now. And here's why. Look, small candles. These are like artifacts that show us the level symbols in these intervals between large candles where the price was squeezed. To put it bluntly, thereby, a barrier was formed for me from which a reaction or a drawdown might occur. This will be a fact as you can see what happened before. There was a bearish trend that is now affecting the market strategy. Therefore, the price will continue to fall, thereby testing the level lower, 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 and lower. That's my opinion. The method you choose to analyze your trading depends on your preferences. That's the only way. You can use either a notebook or a special online service. I have been keeping my trader's journal for a long time, in which I describe the results of my trading in detail. And this, just trust me, is a very important aspect for achieving success in binary options trading in the financial markets. Sometimes this data is not very indicative, and you could even say it's useless, but I still hold the opinion that it's better to record everything. Currently, since I am accelerating, I am not recording anything because in any case, I trade based on my mood. Whatever you choose, it should be something simple and convenient for you. You should enjoy keeping your trading journal. The trade is a plus, guys. Let's move on to another currency pair. I'm not as interested in trading here anymore. To be honest, it's a bit scary because we've been sitting here for quite a while. Let's move on to another currency pair. Let's continue today's acceleration. Guys, I also advise you to never stay too long on one currency pair. 5-6 trades, then switch. Maybe there's a correction or you're just getting too used to it. Here we have a traditional movement, something resembling a sideways trend that is gradually gaining strength. Look here. A decline. But there's a bounce at the level, a shadow, everything we need. Lately, I've often started working with sideways movements. I didn't come to this immediately, usually tried to avoid it with experience. In fact, it has become more calm to make a profit on it because during a sideways trend, the market moves even more predictably. Not so long ago. By the way, this understanding came to me. If there's a beautiful shadow of a very good length, then it's clear that the price is being pushed down. And it seems like I have a very good chance to close in profit. Although the buying volumes are starting to act too, we see that, right? Not enough to knock me out, or to seize the initiative, or to break through the resistance level. I hope at least for that. I am constantly persuading the market to move in my direction. The last step, yes. The final step, in order to increase productivity and reduce stress, is to rest more. This is an excellent way to reinforce your beneficial habits and make your trading systematic. Without rest, nothing will work out. I generally recommend that you periodically assess the accuracy of your actions precisely during rest. I will hold short positions and short contracts here from the upper pressure zone of the sideways market, as I still don't see potential for an upward movement. You will also need to add new support and resistance levels as the price moves when you analyze the chart yourself. The good news is that you won't have to do that. This is often the case if you use clear analysis and already have some experience. You can improve your skills without any problems, for example, by subscribing to my Telegram channel, friends. It contains even more new and old information that will help you develop this knowledge. And even, to some extent, intuition in trading. And it is there too. Sometimes I even see reviews and comments. People write to me in private messages with gratitude for helping them understand such a rather complex process. In general, for me, it is actually valuable too, a kind of plus for karma. You know, it's nice to realize that I can really help someone. It's always nice to realize that. So, well, it looks like I'm taking my profit, friends. I'm trying to keep all my emotions as much in check as possible. The session is going very well so far. This is my first attempt, let me remind you. Let's change the asset and see what happens. It's hard to keep emotions in check, I'll be honest with you, but I will try to do it to the best of my ability. Routine in trading, friends. It should help you become more disciplined in your trading. You must avoid unwanted emotions, as I already mentioned, and trade only what you see, not what you want to see. This is very important. Because earning here takes time. Right now I'm working based on the principle that a bearish trend appeared earlier. Then there was a small correction, a rebound after which further decline is expected. As I hope it seems I've encountered a similar situation before, I think you understand where all this is leading. Regarding freedom and personal space in trading, yes, it can indeed be a hindrance, but friends, the level of development here is limitless. And unlike a regular job, there is no ceiling. So we can talk about endless career growth. You can combine many different things, but if we focus on one thing, it becomes easier. So, friends, this is of course cool. In the last seconds again, friends. I think I want to make one more deal. I want to reach a record amount and then we'll wrap it up. Let's do it. Guys, well, I don't know, was it or wasn't it? Canadian dollar, Swiss franc. Let's try to open now. The more red candles, the better for us. We are opening a short here with you a short. I will focus on the decline. It's important that I enter exclusively from the nearest maximum of the price. Here we see a downward movement after consolidation. The volume is increasing. The bounce is already quite strong, and this is clear from the length of the candles. This level falls exactly within the range of the last movement. Friends, now in the body of the candles, you can observe how market participants' positions are accumulating. They are actually very active. 30 seconds until completion. If this contract ends in profit, guys, I will have more than $10,000 on my balance. Just imagine, that's the first thing. I wasn't expecting this session at all, nothing. I just wanted to trade with you for fun and try to boost the deposit from $1 without any indicators at all. Just imagine how cool that is. Also luck. Well, without luck, it's impossible. Here, $10,102, guys. Net profit is more than 1,000,000 rubles for those who don't understand the exchange rate. Let's sum up the results. No comments, actually. Today's boost is happening. The video is coming to an end, friends. I hope you found it interesting and productive. I covered quite still $10,102. Guys, my first hint was, but this hasn't happened probably for the past 6 months. I've not written anything like this. Very happy. That's what it means to take a break. Yeah. A huge thank you to everyone. Thank you for watching. I hope it was useful and interesting. If so, subscribe to the channel. Be sure to like, guys. Also, write what topic you want to explore and see in my next episodes. Wishing you more profit, kindness, and peace overhead. See you soon on my channel, friends. Goodbye, everyone.